tell people all the time, there's no other network marketing company or even business, corporate America, where people are willing to share secrets, because there's no secrets in Plexus to begin with, but everybody wants to be able to shine. And that's what drew me into this business completely, is that every single person, and it gives me chills every time I say it, every person can absolutely make it to the top in this business and in this company because of the way that they set this up. And there doesn't need to be any competition, but it's completely up to you what you do with that. Because while everybody can make it to the top, not everybody will, because it's not hard work, but it's working hard, and not everybody is willing to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll kind of let you take the floor and take it from here and share your story and whatever to share with us.
Yeah. So, I mean, if anytime, stop me, ask questions, but I'll just go through just a little bit of why I'm here and just a little bit of my heart with you tonight. So I started for the first time in Plexus 3 years ago. And I quit. I was a quitter, but I didn't think that I needed the products. I was a super, super skeptic. I did not think that they were going to work, and I was not consistent. 2 weeks into it, I wrote it off, and I went into what I call the PPP, the Plexus Protection Program. I was not super, super close with my direct sponsor. We were just acquaintances, and I stopped answering all of her messages. I scrolled by a little bit faster on Facebook. I was that girl that would call up my sister-in-law and be like, oh my gosh, did you see so-and-so's post? And now I'm that girl that people scroll by faster, and I could not be more blessed by it, because those people that stop and those people that invest and the people that are ready will bless you to no extent in this journey. But just a little bit of background information. My kiddos are, Colton, my youngest, is 4. My middle daughter, Brooke, will be 6 on Valentine's Day. She's our Valentine's baby. And my oldest just turned 8 on the 16th of this past month. And so when my oldest daughter was 11 months old, I was a school teacher at the time, I woke up and my knee was really swollen, and had just built a house. And I, of course, with teaching, I didn't have any sub plans ready. So I just went to work, and I had been a basketball coach, and the athletic trainer had come in to check on some of the girls in high school. And he just took one look at me and he said, Bree, you've got to get to the emergency room. You just need to go and check that out, because that doesn't look normal. It's not a sprain, like you didn't do anything to it. So I went to the emergency room, and they started running all these tests on me, pulled fluid out of my knee, thought that maybe I had gout, thought that I had a blood clot. Long story short, I ended up having to go in every couple of weeks. My ankle, my knee, my right shoulder, my right elbow, and my right wrist would swell enough that I couldn't really bend them unless they removed the fluid from them. I live in the middle of nowhere on a dairy farm with my husband, and so we don't have specialists in our area. Doctors' offices are kind of horrific in the fact that if you have a cold, they can tell you to go get some Tamiflu, but other than that, like, they don't really tell you anything. So I needed to wait a couple of months to get into a specialist that was about 2.5 hours away. Once I got there, I had my first diagnosis with rheumatoid arthritis and then lupus. And I had 2 more babies in that 3.5-year time span. So all 3 of my kids were born in 3.5 years. Those first 2 autoimmune disorders. And then when my son was 6 months old, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. I didn't even know this. This is how bad doctors are in my area. But when my daughter was 6 months old, I knew that something wasn't right. Like, my hair was falling out much, much more than just after like normal hormone pregnancy things. And I went in, and my thyroid, I tested at a 109. Your levels for your thyroid should be at a 0.5 to 5. And they told me, like, I should probably have been in the hospital because my thyroid levels were so crazy off. Little did I know until about 6 weeks ago that that's actually Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I had no idea that numbers that high were anything. So I guess I had 4 different autoimmune disorders in a 3.5-year time span. Along with that, my oldest daughter had her first anaphylactic food allergy when she was 14 months old to a cashew and went into anaphylactic shock. And so we were on a really super long journey with her. By the time she was 4.5, any outdoor allergen, you name it, she had it. We had her off of gluten, we had her off of dairy, eggs caused eczema all over her skin. We had taken her back, we had yearly specialist appointments, and when she was 4.5, we were told that she had developed a carrot allergy and that we needed to eliminate carrots from her diet. And I tell you all of that because I still thought that we were healthy. I became an absolute crunchy mom because I had to. Labels controlled our food, our house, you know, with everything that I couldn't eat and things that my daughter couldn't touch. We had EpiPens stashed everywhere. I lived in our health food store. I already had probiotics. I tell people I was the probiotic snob. I knew everything there was to know about probiotic and about a multivitamin, or so I thought. At one point, I was on 17 different supplements during the day, you know, knowing that magnesium had to be with calcium and just crazy, crazy things. But I think that it's also really, really important when we're on this journey and when we're sharing these products, because now I know that I didn't really know anything about what I needed to know. You know, the things that I thought that I knew about probiotics were not the things that I thought that I needed to know. And so when we're on this journey and we're sharing with people, it's really, really important to remember where we were, not where we are. Because we know, and it gives me chills to think about where I was, because I can't imagine now if I hadn't restarted this journey. My daughter's off of all of her allergy medication. She's eating all of her low intolerant foods. I have no symptoms from any of my autoimmune disorders. I ate a piece of pizza last night and still woke up this morning and had energy. My thyroid numbers, I'm off of all of my medication, and I am down to an 8. Like, that does not happen. So I'm still a little bit on the high side, but my doctor is not worried about it at all because of where I was. I mean, to drop 101 points for your thyroid and your TSH, that doesn't happen normally. Normally, you go the opposite way until you don't have a thyroid left. And so it's super important to remember that we have to plug back into where we were. I need to remember myself as that super skeptical person that didn't want anything to do with this journey, because 95% of the people that we talk to, that's where they're still at. And it's our job and our passion to get the help, to help them realize that this is something that everyone needs, that these products absolutely change everybody's lives, but you have to do it in their time. And that was something that was so important with me, because I quit. I mean, for 6 months, I don't want anything to do with the products. I thought that they didn't work. And so I tell my team all the time, I know how frustrating it is when somebody finally orders, right? You've been working on them for months and months and months, and they finally place that order, and you get so giddy and you know that it's going to change their life. And then 3 weeks later, they're in the PPP and they're not talking to you, and you can't get them to answer the phone or a text message. And you know that they're online because you can see that little bubble turn blue, but they will not open up the chat message. Love them where they're at. Edify them. This is not about Plexus, guys. I know that that might sound kind of crazy to some people, but this journey has nothing to do with Plexus. It has everything to do with loving people where they're at and making sure that you have those relationship connections, because that's what keeps people here. The products don't keep people here. The products are amazing, but life gets in the way. Things get super busy. But if you have that relationship with somebody where you can just send them a really bold message and be like, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on, but I need you to be honest with me. You can't send messages like that if you haven't built that relationship, or they're never going to open up another check message from you again. So love everybody where they're at and know that this is their journey and their timing. And sometimes it's super hard, but we have to be really patient and just let them come back. So 3 years ago in January, I quit. I came back in the end of August. I quit teaching. I quit right before, or resigned, right before I found out, a week before I found out I was surprisingly pregnant with my third. Wow, he was a complete surprise. We were not expecting that. And so to walk away from teaching and that income, living on a dairy farming salary, not having insurance, all of our health issues and finding out that I was pregnant again, I cried a lot that day. And so I had started a vinyl business in my basement, just making like vinyl decals for walls and mailboxes and stuff. And so when I came back and started Plexus, one of the very first things that I told my sponsor was, I will order these products. Number one, I was just ordering them again because she came over and bought a piece of vinyl off of me, and I'm a very yellow personality. And so I thought that if she was buying something off of me, I should probably buy something back. And so I started the products. I ordered as wholesale that time, told myself I was going to give myself 30 days. They ended up absolutely changing everything for us. But I told them that I didn't want anything to do with sharing. I was not a salesperson. I actually, when my second upline, who did do the business, she'd sent me a message after we started having so much success and with the products part of it. And she said, these products are really changing your life. Why don't you put up a post on Facebook? And I sent her a message back and I said, don't ever ask me again. I will never, ever be a salesperson. I don't want anything to do with this, but thank you very much. And I thought that was going to be it. And when she messaged me back, she said, listen, we don't want anybody to be selling anything on this journey. We want you to share something that's worked for you. You're not a salesperson, you're a shares person. We did not know each other. We are like oil and water. We love her to death, but our personalities are completely polar opposite. And the fact that she said that to me that day was a complete godsend, because I know that if she had not used the word shares person with me, I probably would not have been here. But for my personality and the things that I love doing and the fact that I was a teacher, that hit me really hard. That's all I wanted to be able to do then, was to be able to share with other people. So if you haven't, I tell my team this all the time, I think you have to be a complete chameleon in this company. You need to be able to get to the yellows, you need to be able to get to the blues. You wear all of your colors every single day. But the people that we're sharing with, the new members on our team, they aren't there yet. They don't wear their colors every single day. So it's our job to reach out to them in a way that's going to speak the most to them. So if you have a blue and you're really reaching out to them, talk to them about the insane parties that Plexus throws. If you have a green, talk to them about the science and ingredients. There's nothing better than these products. If you have a yellow, talk to them about how much you get to help people. So know the people that you're reaching out to, because that's super, super important on this. And so when I decided to share, one of the things that I said the most was that I did not have time. My husband is gone 14 to 16 hours a day. At that time, I had 3 kids under 5. I was working 2 days a week for my dad. He has a business, and I was running my vinyl business until, that's the only time that I really did vinyl stuff, was after the kids went to bed until like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. So I said I did not have time for this. Now, if people tell you that they don't have time for this, they need it the most. If they don't have 10 minutes to reach out to somebody and to help them, they need this business more than they know, because everyone has time for this. Everyone. And that's the beauty of this. Sometimes life is completely overwhelming. The last couple of days have been a complete whirlwind in our world. But taking 10 minutes to send somebody a message, that's all it takes. But be very specific with what you're doing. Before I go to bed at night, I write down the things that I want to do the next day, and I have it mapped out. I know the people that I'm going to message. That's been super, super key with me. But also know that wherever you're at on your journey, it's super easy to say to stop comparing. But don't compare your chapter 5 to somebody else's chapter 20. And it's so easy to do in this business. It's so easy to do. There were people that joined at the same time as me, and they're already on their second re-entry level, shooting again for diamond. I would be completely lying to you if I told you that that wasn't hard to watch, because it is. To know where you could be or where you couldn't be. But here's the thing. If this took me 10 years, if this took me 15 years to get to diamond, I know we're going to get there. This cup, I wasn't planning on this. I don't know if you can see it. It says Brianne Coolidge Plexus Diamond. A super, super sweet level 2 got it for me for Christmas. And I drink from it every single night. because I know that we're going to get there. I'm not there yet, but in my mind, we're a diamond team. Plexus just has to catch up to me. And sometimes people think that it's crazy to talk like that, but your affirmations are key. Whatever you tell yourself is what's going to end up happening. And I believe that with every ounce of my being. If you don't have the Think Up app, and I get on rabbit trails. I didn't make any notes for this call, so you're just getting me on my rabbit trails. If you don't have the Think Up app, download that Think Up app. You talk into it and you can play your affirmations back to yourself. It is key to hear yourself, tell yourself what you want out of this. If you don't have things posted next to your mirror, and I'm going to tell you, the first time I started doing this, it sounded really, really weird to sit and tell myself, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I am a good leader. But you have to hear yourself saying those things. And it's so powerful to not just think about your goals in your mind, to write them down, to talk about them with a shareholder, and then address the things that are going to keep you from getting those goals. Don't just talk about how you're going to get your goals. Talk about the things that are stopping you from getting those goals, because if you don't address those obstacles, those goals can't happen. I went to my first Super Saturday 2 years ago in January, and Kristen Abart and Jennifer Leith were my presenters. And I'll never forget coming home from that first Super Saturday, and something had just sparked in me. And I remember sitting with my husband on the couch and saying, I know that I was a silver ambassador. I know I'm not making as much as I am with Plexus as I am with my vinyl business, but there's just something about this that makes me feel alive. And one of my number one concerns with doing Plexus was that I didn't have time. And so we talked about it. I voiced that concern. I handled that objection, and we ended up closing that vinyl business so that I could focus on Plexus. I'm not saying tomorrow morning, if you're going to a full-time job, to walk in and quit. But I am saying that whatever those objections, whatever those excuses that you have, if you don't address them, you will never overcome them. And you need to talk to somebody about them. You obviously have an amazing, amazing leader that will help you every single step of the way. Talk about them with somebody, because it's so, so important to be able to do those things. And as soon as I started doing that, we ranked, we went gold that January, and we started ranking every other month after that. And we're set to do Senior Ruby and Ruby the same month. And it was a complete godsend that it didn't happen, because it really made me step back and look at where I was as a leader, and know that this journey, guys, is nothing about us. It does not matter if you have one person on your team or 1,000 people on your team. The second that you start sharing, this becomes about so much more than you. And the second that we get over ourselves, that's when the beautiful things start to happen. And I really had to do that. I still had so many objections about the things that people were saying about me behind my back. Like, it terrified me to put posts up on Facebook, because I was so worried what other people were going to think. My sister-in-law actually called me today and said that one of her best friends was talking to her on the phone about a post that I put up a couple of weeks ago, and how passive aggressive it was, and that I should stop posting on Facebook so much. And y'all, 2 years ago, that would have rocked me. I would have deleted every single Plexus post. No, you know what? If that's how you felt, that post needed to be there for you, because it stirred something in you. This is not about me. This is about you now. And honey, you need Plexus. That's why it bothered you so bad. So know that anything that you're doing, don't just do it for you. And the second that we stop thinking, so many times I have found that people are afraid not of what other people are really thinking. They're afraid of that self-perception. And once we get over that, and we're not so worried about what it looks like for us, and we can start thinking about what it's going to do for other people, that's when things really start to happen. But know that you are not alone on this journey. So don't keep things to yourself. I had the month before, we went Senior Ruby in October, and we had not re-ranked to Senior Ruby points until March of this past year, 2017. And I had a really super sweet level 2, same one that got me this cup. She sent me a message and she said, why don't you go for Emerald next month? We ended March with 796 points. I was a math teacher. Like, doubling your points to go Emerald does not really happen. But for some reason, God stirred something in me, and I was like, all right, let's do it. We should not have hit. I mean, it was complete. I jumped on our team page, and I was like, rally the troops. We're going to do this. We ended up jumping 800 points and ended April with 1,596 points. So for me to tell you that this is not about me, I cannot tell you that enough. This is not about you. It's about your team. It's about the things that you can do together. Because if I would have tried to do that by myself, there's no way that that would have ever happened. So make sure that you're doing this as a group and that you're relying on each other for this, because that's when really, really cool things will start to happen for you. Make sure that you're doing affirmations every day. I know I kind of touched on that, but the one really spoke to me, complete godsend. But I watched, if you haven't watched Jennifer Wolf's, she's an Emerald, she has a really amazing video about affirmations. And I watched that video. It's a YouTube, and I can try to find it and send it to you, Nicole. I have it saved someplace. But she was just talking about how she was not in momentum and she was really struggling. And so she just started with these affirmations and saying, you know, I'm an Emerald. I am a top leader. I can do this. And after I watched that video, I have up above my desk, I have like my goals and my affirmations, so that when I sit at my computer and look at them every single night. And after I got done with that video, I wrote on the top of it, we are a top life-changing team in Plexus. I didn't know what that meant at the time. I mean, I knew that, like, to me at that time, it meant diamond. Never had hit Leaders Board before. And 2 weeks after I wrote that, and I started saying it every day in my affirmations, we were #1 on the Leaders Board for our building business bonuses. I'm not telling you that every single thing that you write on your affirmations will come true in 2 weeks. But I am telling you that when you start to believe things in this company, and when you speak them out loud and you breathe life into them, more things than you can ever dream can happen for you. Because the #1 and 2 things that people go to bed at night and they worry about are our health and our finances. And Plexus is the company that can take care of both of those things for anybody that is willing to put themselves out there and to give this a try. And you have that gift in front of you. You know, so many people, I just got off of a leaders team call with my team, and they were saying, you know, well, now we don't have, like, our teams are really worried because now we don't have that $34.95. It's not free anymore. Y'all, it's 9 cents a day. That's what it breaks down to. We pay 9 cents a day to be able to get these products at a wholesale price. That's it. People walk into a store and drop more than that on sugar every single morning. If we can get them to see that and to realize that, it will change their life. But you have to be bold about it and don't hold back. Anybody have any questions about anything or anything, Nicole, that you wanted me to hit on that I didn't?
No, I mean, I think that you've hit on a lot of points that we all talk about. You know, I love how you said that, because I was the same way a couple of years ago. You know, if somebody would unfriend me and I would find out about it, it would like paralyze me. And now I send them a friend request right back and say, looks like we got disconnected. You know, pretty they've done it because of my Plexus post. But I love that about those people that need it the most. Because I think that that's so true. And they're probably sitting in there, you know, turning and they're annoyed because they know that they need it. But it's not going to take a leap. Yeah. But I love that approach and that mindset.
And know that you're human. You know, one of my best friends I've gotten out of this company, I absolutely adore her. I'm sure you get Alita Allen. If you don't already know her, don't follow her. Do it, because she's a breath of fresh air every day. But we always, like, almost every night we have these midnight powwows where we were just like, yeah, you know. And one day I called her in the middle of the day and I was really upset about something. And she was like, you know what? You have 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to be mad, to say whatever you want to say, to voice it all out to me, and then you're going to move on. Because it is not worth your time spending any more than 10 minutes on it. And that was all I needed. It was her telling me that. It was her validating that I was a human. I could be upset. Somebody on my team said something really not super nice, and it hurt. But as soon as she said that, I didn't need 10 minutes. I needed 30 seconds to be like, listen, it's okay that I'm mad about this. I might be a leader, but I'm still human. And it's okay to be upset about things. So give yourself time. It's not easy. It's a roller coaster. And sometimes you just want to cry. So let yourself cry, but only for 10 minutes. It's that classic saying, was it a bad day or was it a bad 5 minutes that you just milked all day?
I think that's great. I'm going to unmute everybody to see if anybody has any. You guys are all unmuted. Anybody have any questions or button?
I'm an open book, so if you do.
I think you're like amazing because I'm kind of like you in the sense where a couple years ago I started the products, did them for a couple months, wasn't working for me, and then quit and came back stronger than ever. And so I just think that part of your story too is very inspirational. And sometimes it, because I've got, a few on my team who've done the same thing, and I have to sometimes look back. And I love how you say, love them where they're at, and that sometimes that timing was not part of their journey, but it could be different in the future. So, and that's something I always try to reflect back on too. So that's, your story just solidifies that.
And know that, me quitting, I needed that because it taught me that the products really did work. It was just me that didn't work. And I needed that 6 months to grow as a person until I was ready. And so a lot of people, like, I see people in the Jewel pages like, oh, it's a white line, like, let them die. And I just want to be like, no, like, you need to resurrect them. Because they're still, like, I was a white line, and I can't even imagine. I mean, sometimes I look at my little girl and I just think, it brings tears to my eyes. Like, she's thriving, she's no longer just surviving. And this company did that. And if somebody wouldn't have cared to reach back out to me, I can't even imagine where we would be, because every single appointment we went to, something else got added. 4 autoimmune disorders in 3.5 years. Like, people don't come back from that. I couldn't carry my daughter up and down the steps. We crawled together. I can carry all 3 of them now. It's just, there's so many stories like that. And this company brings those back to light.
That's so true. I love how you said let plexus catch up to us. That mindset of already. I love that. I think that's so true.
Dude, go buy a diamond pen. Really, it sounds really silly, but I have a blue, because next, of course, we're shooting for sapphire, and I bought a blue pen. It's got a diamond on the top of it, and I just figured, you know what? Let's both right in a row. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know if it's in the next 5 years, but I'm really bold with my team. Like, if you're having a bad day, I get it. But if you're done, you're done. Like, I would rebuild from the ground up if I had to, because I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask a specific question?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I would love to know, like, how often are you in touch with your team individually? Like, how are you doing? Like, what does your, like, a week look like for you in terms of activity with your team?
Madness, but good madness. So we have a strict schedule in some senses, and then in others it's just kind of like whenever you message me, if you need to call me, you call me. That being said, I've gotten really good about messages. Some people will send you a message and it's like, what's the price of the ProBio? Sorry, honey, go look it up. Like, learn the people that you can message back and that you can open up the messages. That was another rabbit trail, because I don't know if that's specifically what you're asking me right now, but learn to be attentive on what you're doing, I guess is what I'm saying, because that drove me nuts at the beginning. I felt like I was attached to my phone, that I needed to help every single person, but you're not helping them when you do that. You're just enabling them. And oftentimes, and I'm really bold about it now, like if I open up a message and it's something silly like that, I just don't respond. And then 5 minutes later, they'll message me back, never mind, I found the answer. Good, I knew you could do it all along. But then I also have people that I know, my leaders, I know that if they send me a message like that, it's because they're in the middle of something and they just can't remember. And so I know the people that I can send a message back to really quick. I like schedules. I thrive on schedules. And so Sunday nights, I have an accountability Zoom with my top leaders. We go over PV, how many new people we've added. I have a sheet that we use on it. We actually just got done with it, so it's on my desk. But it talks about your goals for this week, your goals for next week, your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal for the month. Our top 3 people that we're really cluing in on. So I want each of my leaders to have their top 3 and who they're helping with 3. I make sure that they are in at least, and by make sure, I strive to help them be in at least 10 3-way chats every single week, because those 3-way chats are huge with edification and just third-party validation. So we're really big about those on our team. And then we go over our personal affirmations, our plexus affirmations. We talk about who we are edifying, who we're mentoring for duplication, and who we're working on a personal growth. And I can send that to you, Nicole, too. I have a picture of it. I can send that over to you.
Thank you so much. That'd be great.
Yeah, they have to email or screenshot their form filled out to me by noon on Sunday to get the link for the accountability group. If they don't email it to me, they don't get in. And I know that might sound crazy, but I want to know who my leaders are and I want to clue in on them. If you're willing to put in the time, I'll give you my time. If you're not willing to put it in, then don't message me that you want to be diamond in a week if you're not willing to do the work for it. And that my leaders know that with me. Every Monday night we have our big team call. Everybody jumps in on that. Thursday nights, every Thursday night, I have an event for them to clue in on. So we do first Thursday of the month is a new member celebration. Second and fourth Thursdays are information events for prospects. I host all of them, so all they have to do is just invite people. And then the third Thursday of the month is a business building event where we just talk about the business opportunity with prospects. But we don't call it a business building event because that would scare any new prospect away. And we're just starting now. Alita and I kind of have joined a lot of our team stuff together. And so we're starting a road to gold for all of our silvers. They have to be silver to get into the group. Silver and above, just to kind of clue them in with accountability. There's a really good app that I've downloaded too that I just started using that's really super helpful. It's called VisiBook. That's probably bad. You can't really see it. It's just like a little calendar. But it lets me plug in my times for the week. So like work for my dad Tuesdays and Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I keep from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock open, and they're like 20 to 30 minute increments. So my team they have my schedule. They can go in and they can plug in like, Monday at 11 o'clock works for me. I want that time from you. It sends them a reminder so that they have to keep the appointment. Like they're really big on that. If you're scheduling something, stick with it. And then I do the same thing for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights. If I know that we're not doing anything on Friday night, I do a lot of my coaching calls like after my kids go to bed and let them schedule those things. But then there's always people that just call during the day. If they need something, they'll send me a message and we'll jump on chat for a little bit. But I'm very intentional with my time with those things. Did that help, or was that a rabbit trail?
No, I love the rabbit trail. So I'm frequent the rabbit trail myself. So the 3 chats that you mentioned, are those like you encourage them to have at least 10 a week? What do those, are they for prospects, for new people, all of that?
Everyone.
Okay.
So, and I teach them, don't ask. If you tell somebody that you're going to stick them in a 3-way chat, if you ask somebody to stick in a 3-way chat, everybody's going to say no and nobody will talk anymore. So I teach my team, don't ask. Like we were just talking about this on the last accountability call that I did, because I had one team member and I spotlighted her tonight. She was super, super scared of doing three-way chats. And so she just never, she's a level 1, she's a rock star, she's almost Ruby, but she never wanted to do a three-way chat. And so she messaged me on Friday and she said, I have this girl, she's going to be amazing with the business, but I just can't get her to commit. How do I get her in a three-way chat? And I was like, Courtney, stop asking them. Tell her that you have a friend in Plexus that you do this business with and that you would really love for her to meet me and stick her in a three-way chat with me. That's all it took. It wasn't that I said anything magic. 10 minutes later, she was signed up. Courtney had already done all the background work. It's strictly third-party validation that they get from those three-way chats. But don't have them ask to be in it. And then I always have my leaders, before they stick me in the three-way chat, they just send me a really quick background information. So I had already done it with Courtney, but say somebody doesn't want anything to do with the business, she would send me a message and just say, this is so-and-so. She's not interested in the business, but she's really, really interested in the products. So then I have kind of a little bit to go with. And then when they introduce the three-way chat, they just say, hey, this is my friend Tara. She's really interested in the science and ingredients behind the ProBio. Tara, this is my friend Bree. She has been with me on this journey for the last 2 years, and she loves the science and ingredients. And then the first thing that I answer back is usually, hey, I'm so glad that we're getting to do this. What are your goals with Plexus? And then it opens it up for them to be able to talk about it.
That's awesome. And do you guys do welcome calls as well, like a phone call with new people?
It depends on the leader. Same thing. Some people are super scared of them and skeptical of them. I love them. Keep them to under 20 minutes and super down to the wire, cut and dry. We have a paper that we fill out with them, but a lot of them it's just three-way chats and messages.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
That is such great information, Bree. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind sending that a picture of that sheet, that would be amazing.
Will you remind me? Because I will forget.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. No, it's great to hear different systems and different communication styles, because I think as you grow, definitely important to find your own, but just to merge everything in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's the most important thing. Don't be afraid to find what works for you. Just because something works for Nicole. And that was one of the biggest struggles. My sister-in-law and I do life together, and she's almost senior Ruby, and she was watching me do things, and it was a hardcore mental block for her. And we had to have some real hard conversations about it, because she felt like she needed to do things the same way I was doing, and that she needed to duplicate everything. And that's the beauty of this, is that you duplicate the process, but you don't have to duplicate what gets you to that process. Mm-hmm. So find what works best for you.
Yeah.
And one more time, you said the app that you're using is VisiBook, is VISI?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have one question. Put one of us into a group that you do for business building. I'm really curious to see.
She's breaking up really bad.
Oh, shoot.
I'm so sorry. We couldn't hear your question.
Okay, it was basically, could I get put into that business builder group? I would love to see how that.
Like our new member celebrations? I do all that right in my team page. My new member celebrations are all in my team page. I think we're talking at the same time.
No, okay, you know what? I'll try to find the question out for her, and I'll send it to you. Maybe I can link it in a quick 3-way message.
If she's asking, I'm really strict about this. I don't let anybody in my team page. And here's why. I had somebody that was in my team page, and she joined another network marketing company and then started messaging my team. And so I've worked really hard to build those relationships. And so a lot of the events I do right in my team page for that reason, because they're secret. or we have an information page that's just for our prospects, our customers, and then wholesale people get to be in there. And that one's a little bit harder to manage because there's like 4,500 people in there now. But I do them all as events right in those pages instead of outside pages, so that you have to be in that group to be able to add anybody else to it. Because you work hard to build wherever you're at, whether you're a silver or you're a diamond. Like, I always tell them they're like my little plexus babies. Like, I have been with them since the beginning, so I'm super protective. But I always have all of that stuff. I type it up. You know, if you ever want to see, I share it all in the Jewel pages too, but I have no problem. I'll share anything. You know, I have them all typed up as Microsoft Word documents and just keep them because I recycle them all the time.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. And I want to be respectful of your time because I know you've had a long night. Does anybody have any other questions for Bree before we let her go? No, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to hear how much it's helped you and your family.
Yeah, no, it's a blessing for sure.
Well, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate your time tonight.
No problem. Have a great night, guys.
All right, thank you.